The coach's room with Jon Goyens, former QMJHL head coach. And Jon, we're digging into game 6 of the Stanley Cup final. It's the Florida Panthers who have a 3-2 lead. And in our last episode, we broke down, are the Panthers dumping it in too much as the last few games have played out? What has Florida shown us, especially, I guess, with that game 5 victory on the road that tells us they're maybe a bit more balanced?
It looks like it is more balanced, but it looks like Edmonton has backed off expecting the dump-ins. And now Florida's like, wait a second, you guys are giving us racetrack to enter with possession. You look at last game, and I know some of them are, Marchand just playing out of his mind a little bit here, but there's 3 goals on zone entries. And so the other part is sometimes now they're carrying pucks in deeper and buying time for fresh legs to come on, not give Edmonton opportunities to get changes and set up a set breakout. And that stretches out zone time, and that also stretches out time on ice for Edmonton players having to defend. So I find that Florida in transition is really, let's call it, spatially aware of space in front or space behind and managing it better than ever. And as we see in the upcoming clips, it's very evident that they are foaming at the mouth given any opportunity to take advantage of some of the racetrack. Listen, little dipsy doodle, you got to get a piece of them, but look at the gap, right? They're backing off. Edmonton is backing off, and that is on the fringe of a slot shot, and it's still a key opportunity early. You watch here, Bennett goes, you want to back off? Fine. 1 versus 3, gets his stick on this loose puck and almost whacks it in far side. Here, 2-on-2, you great gap, 2-on-2, and now they back off. Now they're backing off. So Florida's like, back off? Fine. We've seen Varhege in the playoffs score from this exact same spot. And when in doubt, in transition on these regroups, they do a wing center exchange on D-to-Ds. Now look at this. It's gone from 3-on-3 to almost Barkov scoring the nicest goal in the playoffs. And then they also, something that I talked about last week was tag up. Instead of just dumping that puck in, they find someone in the middle and carry it. And by getting that puck into that trapezoid, it opens up pockets of space. Also, again, here, quick tag up, go to the middle, beat the line change, and get an opportunity. So here it could be a shot on net or a shot for deflection. Climb pucks, carry pucks to mid-ice. You create multiple 2-on-1s. And again, they're able to go weak side and then backdoor and almost a tap in. And then here are the 3 goals. I know it's off a face-off play. Poor read by Ekholm, but still. Now watch this play. Easy outlet. Where's Chichi Rodriguez-Skinner going with his stick in the holster? That's a terrible, terrible change. If he posts up, he deflects that puck in, that's not a goal against. And last but not least, you go out against the D that you're blocking and you go for that rush, but that was a 1-on-3 rush. There's no reason why 2 out of the other 3 players involved couldn't have taken at least 1 or 2 strides to get their pound of flesh and help out in that moment.
All right, I'm going to give you a golf clap here. We got a Chichi Rodriguez reference. That was outstanding.
You like that?
Going the other way, the Oilers have struggled to create off the rush. Why?
Space. They're just... Florida does such a great job. You want to look at it and go, oh, they play a 1-3-1. They play a 1-2-2. They, you know what? They pressure, regroup. They're constantly looking over their shoulders. And it's not about X marks the spot and Frank, you got to be here and Tyler, you got to be here. And so as that pressure happens, someone's reloading into an area. Then it's their reach. Florida uses their length and their reach to steer plays to the outside or to force those dump-ins. And then when they do that, they already have a weak side guy that's already started to skate forward and jump on loose pucks. So when the racetrack is there, Edmonton hasn't been able to take advantage. And the number one reason, no middle drive. I spoke to a former NHL head coach, and he said, look for this early in the series and throughout the series. Very rarely is Edmonton middle driving. So there's several elements, no time and space. Florida's great with their reach and reloads, but on entries, where is the middle drive? Let's fire up these clips. So here, definitely no room. You got to get it deep, but you can't make it so easy for Bob to play this puck. So weak side's got 2 forecheckers, little tap. Oh, I got nothing clear, up and out. Here, little chip into space. Watch how quickly Seth Jones gets across. Boom, protect. They're going to initiate a battle. Watch this 3-on-5 coverage by the Florida Panthers. You're not getting anything out of this. You're just not. And then here, McDavid. Okay, low place and chase. He's met with 3 Florida Panthers. He's outnumbered. You see Kulikov wanted to go strong side, looks, they a little indirect, and it's out the zone. Here's a little bit of time and space. Schmidt, great job of steering McDavid to the outside. Kulikov forces the delay. Now it's 3 versus 5 once again. And then again, here, you're going to carry the puck. Let's kick it out. And this is that shot everybody thought was going to go in. No middle drive. Paul Goldson decides to fade out to the weak side when he should have middle drive. There's nothing there. So they're going to concede those outside shots. Here's Connor Brown. He's going to lay up. Where's the middle drive? Watch. Nobody wants to go down the pipe and cause Bobrovsky to back off, deflect pucks. And when they do get racetrack, watch what happens. Ekholm jumps up. He kicks it out. Where's any type of middle drive? Everything gets kicked out. Everything becomes perimeter. Here you got a little bit of space. 3 1-on-1s, a 3-on-3. Watch Luostarinen read this handoff to McDavid. And then off this draw, this is something that I think they need to use more of. They need to kick pucks into the middle of the ice and let a guy like McDavid create what he can create. But once again, middle drive's a little late and everything becomes perimeter once again.
So if there was one thing that you could highlight as like the Oilers need to do blank if they're going to win, is it as simple as if they start driving through the middle and get enough cracks at that, eventually they'll generate some offense?
100%. Their opportunities, shot attempts, and shots on net off the rush has been cut by 50% from what they do in the regular season to this series. Because the other part is when you regain possession of the puck, then you get zone time. Well, guess what? They're almost down a full 3 minutes of offensive zone possession time from their regular season average to the last few games in this series. So they got to get away from one and done hockey in the offensive zone.
John, I said Oilers in 5. You said Panthers in 5. We're both wrong right out of the gate. You have a chance to be less wrong than me, though. Do you think the Panthers finish it off in 6, or are we seeing 7?
I see it in 6.
All right, so you're sticking with the Florida Panthers here. Frank and I both think 7. John, appreciate your time. Thanks for popping on.
Thanks, guys.
What's up, hockey fans? If you enjoyed that video, then you need to be hitting the subscribe button right here at Daily Faceoff. Exclusive interviews and analysis from our hockey insider Frank Saravalli, fantasy updates from Brock Sagan, and a daily live show at noon Eastern, Monday through Friday. You don't want to miss any of the fantastic content, so hit that subscribe button.